JKB back with another episode. Today I'm reviewing Neurovoider for the Nintendo Switch. It's on the eShop for $13.99. Thank you so much to the dev for sending over the review copy. This really brought me back to the past. I had a great time with it. Now, Neurovoider is a twin-stick shooter RPG set in a cyber futuristic world with a pinch of roguelite and some permadeath. You play as a brain in a robot. Yeah, I mean, you play as a brain in a robot. That is fucking awesome. The game features local multiplayer with up to 4 players, which is perfect for the Nintendo Switch. It's also mostly procedurally generated. And as the devs say on their website, the game features 8,736 unique enemies to blow up. They say that they've actually counted that, and maybe that's true. Who really knows? Let's talk about the customization based on the loot that you will receive in between the missions. There's very important things you need to do after you've completed the missions. When you're in a mission, you kill a lot of enemies. A lot of loot falls onto the ground. This loot is going to power you up and get you ready for future missions. You've got 3 different types of robots you can choose from. You have your very simple light one that moves quickly. You've got your mid-level one, and then you have your tank robot. All 3 of them are very useful, different abilities, and different customization as you go through the game. Now, each of the robots you choose to play as have different sections that you can customize. So the loot you'll be picking up are different sensors, which represent his head. His eye sensors are going to be all about leveling up his overall stats. Then you've got his mid-body, which is sort of his armor, and then you have his legs, which represent the speed of the robot. Now, all of these have other, sort of assets attached to them, stats attached to them, that you'll want to pay attention to. Some of the loot that you pick up might have a bonus item on it. So it might say, plus an extra 10 XP towards his damage or whatnot. Now, each of the robots also allows you to customize their 2 weapons. Now, this is where the game really does get super interesting for me. You can also compete online for a daily high score in Daily Challenge. You're given 1 life to rack up as many points as you can within a timer, recording how long you've played the game for before you die. This is a nice added bonus for people who love the repetitive gameplay. And when I say repetitive, I don't mean that in a negative way. This game, yes, is absolutely repetitive, but because of the upgrade system and because you can change the weapons out on each of the robots you're using, this game is just a lot of fun to be played in short bursts. Permadeath, oh my goodness. Permadeath is a big deal in this game. After you've been killed, you lose everything. So that's where the roguelite comes into play. The importance of healing yourself in between the missions is super important. You also pick up not just the loot, but money from the enemies that you are killing in each level. So bigger enemies are going to drop a lot more stuff like energy or different loot or money to heal yourself in between the missions. Now, playing in handheld mode, I found it kind of a little frustrating because of the Joy-Cons. They just didn't feel that accurate. And in a twin-stick shooter, that's kind of super important. So I would highly recommend to use the Pro Controller if you're going to bring this around to your friends, or you're going to be on the bus, or wherever you're going to be. Make sure you have a Pro Controller to play this. I will say that the Joy-Cons are useful for this system, but I mean, a lot of these games really need the Pro Controller, and this is one that I think would really benefit from it. So the cons of this game have to be the Joy-Con just doesn't feel that very, I don't know, like it's portable. I get it, but it just doesn't feel accurate in handheld mode. Now, pros though really take the cake here. It's really fun to play this game. It has an amazing fun loot system built into it. Every time you kill somebody, you get new loot. So after you've escaped each of the missions, you get to check out that loot. The upgrade system is spectacular in this game. To be able to switch out your weapons on the fly after you've completed a mission is just awesome, rewarding. The daily challenge, I thought personally, was such a cool thing to see in the game. If you really play this for, 10-minute spurts at a time, I can see a lot of people just turning this on and jumping in every single day to go into the daily challenge. I know if I was in like high school again and I had friends who had this game, I would always be going into the daily challenge to compete against their high scores. And lastly, another pro, which is a big one here, is that it is 4-player co-op on the Switch in portable mode and at home. Of course, this is a big deal. Again, if I was a teenager and I went to high school, man, I'd bring this game and we'd have an absolute blast. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I highly recommend it for the people who are looking for something, yet again, for the Switch that's going to really take up 10 to 15 minutes of your time during this play session. This isn't, by all means, is not a AAA title. This is another budget title for the Nintendo Switch that I think really does a good job, but it's not for everybody out there. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of JKB.